This podcast is for entertainment purposes only and does not substitute for professional medical advice. Please seek a medical professional or healthcare provider if you're seeking any medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Thanks, everyone. Welcome. We did not put it in.
I went ahead and changed my shirt because we're batch recording as we typically do. And then
I went to go change my shirt. So Julie came out of her room and then we both just stared at each other. We're like wearing the exact same style of shirts right now.
Target, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Target.
Wow.
It's even...
I love Target.
I know. These shirts in particular.
Yes, they're so strict. Oh my God, it is literally the same shirt. I didn't realize until right now.
Yes,
it's the same.
that's why I'm like Target, right? Because I have that one.
Oh my God.
I'm telling you, if I would have worn the tank top version of it, that's it. I would have just been like, get the.
That would have been hilarious.
I'm like, I'm not gonna change. We're gonna make a thing out of this.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we legit did not plan this.
We did not.
Not even a little
bit. We did not,
bit.
and I think it's hilarious. Okay.
Anyway. All right, so welcome back to Funny Mess.
Welcome back to our show. I'm Evie.
I'm Julie.
And this is our episode on quite controversial pseudoscience.
It's just, it needs to be done.
She chose it.
I did. It needs to be done. We're living right now in a place of pseudoscience in the US. Mm-hmm. It's a lot. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to break down what it is. There are some of them that have some backing, some
safety profiles.
Yeah, and just some.
We come at it also from a nice way.
Yeah. I'm not gonna attack anybody here.
Yeah.
This is literally, and that's the point of our episode, our whole podcast. It's just to give you the facts on things.
Yeah.
We're not looking at it in any biased way. We're just giving you the.
We do have our opinions on it, 100%. But we are going to be giving facts.
Exactly. So, and like I said, some of it has some, some stuff to it that maybe it's like, okay, I could see how that,
Yeah.
But a lot of those pseudoscience that we're going to be talking about is just debunking it pretty much. So This is going to be kind of an episode on debunking some of these pseudoscience things. And there's so many things of pseudoscience, so many. You could go down a lot of rabbit holes on it, but I went ahead and I just concentrated on the most popular trending ones, the ones that have the most amount of following to it and whatever that people seem to be really attracted to. So let's do it.
All right. So what is pseudoscience? Simply put, pseudo means fake, right?
Faux.
Or faux, yeah. Science. So fake science.
Yeah.
Now, it refers to claims. I know it sounds like we're over here like this fake science, but it refers to claims or practices that sound like they're scientific, but they're not. Right?
Exactly.
And I do feel that there are some people that practice pseudoscience because they truly believe in homeopathic remedies, right, which we're going to talk about,
right,
which it's I kind of choose my battles in the world.
Yeah.
Do I tell my patients, is it going to make a difference? Probably not, but it has a pretty good safety profile. So if you want to drink your oregano oil, by all means, man, drink your oregano oil. Okay. I'm being serious.
I know.
I tell my patients, I'm like, that's not something that I'm going to stop you from doing. I don't think that you're doing any harm by taking a tablespoon of oregano oil,
The interesting part here is that you're a DO. So DOs she's still, it's like an MD.
We don't practice homeopathic medicine.
But you guys have at least an extra class on
osteopathy.
Right.
Which really, osteopathy really focuses on the musculoskeletal system and how that intertwines with pathology. So obviously there are things that have nothing to do with osteopathy, and then there are things that could probably take a role in osteopathy. But anyways, listen to our podcast.
To our episode.
Yeah, just listen to our episode and then you can make your own claims after.
Right.
Okay. So this pseudoscience are things that are not backed by scientific evidence. That's when you are reading on things and when you are taking things into consideration, then you should kind of have the facts that are evidence-based, or there is some evidence to the methodology. Oh, so what I was going to say, I think there are people that truly practice it with good intentions. And then I think, unfortunately, there are more people that do it for the money to scam you than to actually care about your health. Okay?
100%.
So they often claim to be factual and to be scientific. And a lot of these people love to use big science words.
Very charismatic
okay?
people too.
Yes. And unfortunately, those are con artists.
100%.
That's what they do. They're good at conning people.
And it's, God, and social media has put fuel on that fire, because it's so much easier for them to penetrate and reach so many people that just don't know. And they truly believe them because they have that art. Honestly, it's people that are talented at like selling anything.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
It's a talent.
If you're a salesman, you can sell a can of refried beans, you know? I cannot sell anything.
Yeah, me neither.
You know, I don't, I think you and I are like charismatic, and I think we can really provide good information, but there are people that have an art to it.
Yeah.
So anyways, in other words, pseudoscience is kind of like a mask or a costume. It dresses up in very nice, fancy, sciencey language without really doing the actual science underneath.
Exactly.
So how can you tell if something's real from pseudoscience? Real science involves careful testing and data and peer review, ideas that are challenged. That's what a peer review is. Ideas that are challenged and must hold up to the experiment. Yeah. And also pseudoscience, on the other hand, often relies on anecdotes. Okay, so it works for my friend, and my favorite one, well, I'm a pediatrician, so of course I'm gonna lean towards the pediatric side. My child had this, and I gave him this oil, and they started talking full sentences. And I'm like, I doubt it. I doubt it.
Yeah. No, this episode's gonna be
and like in
full
24
of
hours, right? Like, no. That's what pseudoscience usually goes based off of. And I love how everyone starts their videos. It's like, I am not making any scientific claims or anything. I'm not a doctor. I'm just saying what worked for me, okay? And then they go on to say that, well, what you're actually doing is you're promoting something because you're taking advantage of someone else's vulnerability to convince them to do something. And then on the little side, on the underside, it says sponsored or no, makes commission.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So, I don't know. So
that should just be a red flag immediately. Immediately just like scroll.
Yeah, and then pseudoscience also tends to like cherry pick data.
Yeah, big time.
So it doesn't look at the whole paper. It just says like one sentence, and then they'll grab onto that and not really fully understand the whole entire experiment or paper or research study.
Right, it's what's convenient.
Yeah, exactly. You know? And then also they'll stick to claims that can't be tested or disproven. Okay, so as everyone knows, it takes a long time to get scientific research. Yep. Unfortunately, it's not something that we can have from one day to the next tell you.
And if it does,
it's weird, right? It's kind of questionable.
The red flag.
Right? So scientific research welcomes scrutiny. That's the whole entire point. That's like day one of science.
Yep.
Day one of science is they teach you your hypotheses.
Scientific method.
And the scientific method, exactly. So you have a question, you turn it into a hypothesis, and then you test.
Hypotenuse.
Yeah, not the hypotenuse. I hate math.
No, I hate
not
it too.
The hypotenuse. Hypotheses. So you have a question, you turn it into a hypothesis, and then you test it. Exactly. Right? When you test it, that's what we mean by it welcomes scrutiny, right? And it welcomes replication by others to see if what they got was the same thing that you got, okay? 100%. Whereas pseudoscientific products usually avoid independent testing or explain why they had failures. And a good rule of thumb is if a health claim sounds too good to be true, like an instant cure or no side effect or a magic pill, the magic bullet, if it's questioning, it is discouraged, you might be dealing with a pseudoscience rather than sound science. It's fake news.
Yeah.
Another hallmark is that pseudoscience often stays stuck, right? Even after being debunked, okay? Like autism and vaccines. Okay, So legitimate scientific ideas evolve or are abandoned when evidence contradicts them, right? So
At least they
a
tend
real
to.
scientist, if something does not lead to their results, then they're like, okay, well, that did not work.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is, pseudoscience tends to kind of just cling on despite to contradictory evidence, sustained more by belief on marketing than by facts. And it might use scientific sounding jargon, so the fancy words, okay, like energy vibration, quantum healing, and it just seem credible, okay? But
Quantum healing.
yeah, but these terms are usually either misused or not defined clearly enough to test. The result is to claim that it feels scientific, but can't be pinned down or verified. So they lose you in the science jargon. So lastly, it's important to note the human element. So people that promote pseudoscience aren't always intentionally deceptive, which is what I was saying, okay? Sometimes they actually truly believe in what they're selling.
Yep.
Likewise, those who turn to pseudoscientific remedies are often desperate for hope or maybe simplicity when faced with complex health issues. We'll talk a little bit more about like why pseudoscience is so tempting. But first, let's take a quick historical tour to see that a snake oil has been around for a really long time and all that stuff.
Exactly. This is not new.
Yeah.
It's just, unfortunately, now in today's age with social media, the internet, and all that, it's just like proliferated it. Like it's just exploded, everywhere. And it's a lot easier for like these snake oils to go around.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep it brief, but this is pretty much quackery.
I love your time.
Yeah.
A brief history on quackery.
Quackery. That's all this is. Pseudoscience in medicine isn't a new phenomenon, unfortunately. Here we are, and it's back, bigger than ever.
Yeah.
So for much of human history, medical science was primitive, and people tried all sorts of unproven remedies in the quest to heal. Before the modern scientific era, even the best physicians operated with flawed theories. But today's standards actually go back to our episodes we did a few Octobers ago on like medieval and like ancient like remedies like that,
Yeah.
like bloodletting and whatever. Check that out. This is pretty much it. So even the best physicians operated with flawed theories. By today's standards, many of those practices were pseudoscientific, but they just didn't know it back then. Let's look on just a few of those to give you an example of what it is, right?
Yeah.
Humorism and, like I said, bloodletting. Ancient Greek and Roman physicians believed that the body was governed by 4 humors, and these were blood, phlegm, black bile, and yellow bile. Okay. Illness supposedly meant that your humors were out of balance. So doctors for centuries tried to bleed patients to remove that excess humor. Anyway, so this practice called bloodletting persisted for over 2,000 years. Okay? So
a long time.
it stayed around for a long time.
Yeah.
It really held on there. In fact, bloodletting was the go-to treatment for everything from fevers to headaches well into the 19th century until scientific evidence finally discredited it. Finally. And not too long ago, just in the 19th century. Okay?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
anyway, by then, countless patients had been weakened or worse by this bogus remedy. It was finally discredited in the late 19th century, like I said. And what I was going to say, yeah, actually, George Washington, so apparently he was already like pretty ill, but they exacerbated it and they accelerated his passing because of,
Bloodletting, yeah.
I think it was like 2 liters or something like that of blood that they
I can
removed
imagine
from
that they
him.
removed 2 liters and the patient's like, wow, I feel like I can go to sleep. And they're like, it worked.
Exactly.
It's like, no, I think he's passing out. He's passing out.
I think the human body has like 5 liters in total or something like that, and they removed like 2. It was some insane ratio like that. And I was like, yeah, of course he freaking anyway. So another one, phrenology. So in the 1800s, phrenology was a popular idea that could read a person's personality and mental abilities by bumps and shapes of their skull. Thank God that's not around because my skull is full of bumps.
You're saying.
It's so bad. It's so
Really?
bad. Oh my.
I have like 2.
Touch that. Just touch this crevice that I have right there.
Oh, yeah.
I have like a canyon in my head, like right here.
It's just her, like the way her sutures close.
Horrible. I would have, yeah. Anyway, so phrenologists had elaborate maps of the skull linking lumps to traits like generosity or aggression. It was presented as an advanced brain science of its time. But of course, it was pseudoscience. The shape of your head has nothing to do with your character or your talents. Still, phrenology parlors thrived until it was debunked, and eventually it just finally faded away. So now, the snake oil, it's pretty much become like the key word for pseudoscience, like remedies and whatever. So these snake oils and these miracle elixirs, right? The term snake oil has become synonymous with fake cures, and for very good reason. In the 19th century, American traveling salesmen they would sell these cure-all, quote-unquote, tonics, often literally labeled snake oil liniment, which is like it's literally like an oil. Like I looked up what the hell is that word that they would label it with, but it's an oil. Literally, that's what it is. Anyway, so claiming to heal anything under the sun is just miraculous. These tonics were usually just mixtures of alcohol, opium, or herbs, if you were lucky. Of course, you're gonna feel better with opium.
You're gonna feel real high.
And even sometimes downright like just inert substances, then that means like substances that don't do anything, like pretty much water at that point. The sellers, we call them snake oil salesmen, were charismatic pitchmen, not very different from today, not doctors. And they were making a quick buck off of people's hopes. So the US government eventually cracked down on these patent medicines in the early 1900s. And the fun fact is that actual snake oil from certain snakes was used in Chinese traditional medicine for joint pain, but the Wild West version rarely contained any real snake extract.
Yeah.
Today's quote-unquote snake oil remains a shorthand for worthless, fraudulent remedies, and sadly, modern versions of these cure-alls still pop up as we see on social media.
Yeah.
And then another one that was pretty severe and pretty crazy at the unfortunate outcomes that it led to.
This is terrible.
Horrible. Radiation and electricity cures. In the early 20th century, when electricity and radioactivity were new discoveries, some quacks claimed that these forces could magically cure diseases. People bought radium-infused water as a vitality booster, or electrical belts to invigorate the organs.
What? Like,
you can't make this shit up.
Only like a salesperson can sell this stuff.
Exactly. Here, let's electrify you.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, in your belt.
Give it some positive energy in there.
Anyway, so this was, of course, without understanding the dangers. Many were literally poisoning or electrocuting themselves in the name of health. It took time and many sick customers for science and regulators to put a stop to these radioactive medicines once the harms became clear. These are a few examples, right? So history is full of bizarre and tragic detours on the road to modern medicine that we are today. The important thing is that as science has advanced, we left these debunked practices behind. At least the majority of them, or at least these that we're mentioning.
Yeah.
Bloodletting, phrenology, and snake oil tonics were replaced by treatments that actually work. Once germ theory, biochemistry, and clinical trials came along, that they just had to go. It was easier for people to see that it was quack. However, new pseudosciences kept emerging to take their place now. To this day, this deception evolves and adapts. So let's break down some of the common pseudoscientific health practices you might encounter now and explain why they don't hold water.
Yeah. All right, so homeopathy. So we're going to specifically talk about the diluted delusions, okay? So one of the most prevalent pseudoscientific systems is homeopathy. I'm coming at it from a neutral point. If you've ever seen tiny sugar pills at the pharmacy labeled with things like cold remedy or stress relief and wondered how they differ from medicine, they might be homeopathic products. I tell all of my families, if you're buying something that's like kind of like a cold, flu, over the counter thing, yes, there are some that have active ingredients, okay? But the other ones are just homeopathic remedies. Now, it's not just for like cold remedies, it's also like stress relief. What is it exactly? What is homeopathy? So it was invented in about 200 years ago by a German physician called Samuel Hahnemann. Homeopathy is based on two ideas: like cures like. So the belief that a substance that causes certain symptoms in a healthy person can cure those of the sick person. Second belief is an extreme dilution. The notion that the more you dilute a remedy in water or alcohol, the more potent it becomes. Those are the two ideas, like cures like, and also the dilution. Homeopathic preparations are made repeatedly diluting an active ingredient, often an herb or a mineral, to the point where virtually none of the original substance remains. In fact, many homeopathic solutions are diluted far beyond Avogadro's number. If anyone knows, that number is a very famous number for chemists.
Yeah.
Meaning that there's effectively a 0% chance even one molecule of the supposed active ingredient that's supposed to help you is even in the bottle. Okay?
Not gonna say anything.
So it's essentially water, okay, or sugar, okay, and with a memory, according to the homeopath. So for sorry, I can't. The Celsius is hitting.
That's how I was. That's exactly how I was last episode.
Now, from a scientific perspective, biology just doesn't work that way, and water has never been shown to have a memory of a past substance.
I hope not, because
That,
water's been
to me,
around
is-
forever.
That's just weird. you know?
Water's been around since the creation of Earth, so I hope it doesn't have freaking memory, because then we're drinking like T-Rex piss.
I thought that was funny.
Right, I just think about it. If water really has memory, you don't want to go down that. No, don't go down that route.
But honestly though, what is that? Like, it literally has 0% of what you thought it had, which is what's supposed to be
So what the
good
hell?
for you.
So
but
how
it's
does
not.
that, like, how do you?
Yeah, I don't know the logic behind that.
I don't know.
But anyways, what does the evidence say? Okay, so homeopathy has been studied extensively, and the results are clear. It does not work any better than a placebo. So major scientific reviews have debunked homeopathy again and again. For example, an Australian government analysis in 2015 reviewed 1,800 papers, but analyzed 225 papers that met quality criteria on homeopathic treatments and found no good quality evidence. Quality means something really good to show you that it works. They didn't find that. It basically says that homeopathy, it's not effective for any health condition. We're not talking about safety profiles.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation.
That's a whole entire other conversation that we can take into account. We're just talking about the actual homeopathy, like the effectiveness.
Yeah.
In other words, when it's tested through rigorous trials, homeopathic remedies perform no better than not taking anything.
Water.
Yeah. So homeopaths often claim mainstream science just hasn't caught up to their methods, but the burden of the proof is on them, and they haven't really provided credible proof.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
It's like, where's the proof then?
Yeah. So why do people think that it works then? Many reasons is placebo effect. People feel better because they expect to. And check out episode on placebo effect.
It's very interesting. It's amazing what the brain could do.
Yeah. And then the fact that minor illnesses often get better on their own because homeopaths tend to spend more time listening to patients, creating strong positive expectations, which is unfortunately something that your day-to-day, MD, DO, they don't have that enough time, which is the reason I also feel, I think I've said this before on our podcast, is that we do not have the exposure on social media than other people that literally dedicate their life to social media.
We're starting to see that a little bit more now,
We
thankfully.
are. Yes.
A lot of doctors.
But it's hard.
It's hard.
It is really
You
hard.
guys don't have the freaking time. And
Yeah.
some people, like, they've managed to, like, just transition over to just becoming like a doctor on internet or
On the
whatever.
internet, yeah.
And that's great. But like for many of you, you just don't have the time. So
Yeah.
then you go back to this, that you
Yes.
just don't have the time to develop that.
Relationship. And then it's, unfortunately, I get to see you for a few minutes. Luckily, like where I work, I'm able to kind of use my time how I want it. So yeah, I have quicker visits, and then I have visits that I need to spend more time. But unfortunately, people are glued to their phones nowadays. So you have a better relationship with the person that you're following online that probably has no credentials than you do with me.
Absolutely.
And that's unfortunate, right? I'm with you on that. It shouldn't be like that. But relying on homeopathy for serious illnesses is really dangerous. And if someone skips real treatment, say insulin for diabetes, antibiotics for an infection, in favor of homeopathic drops, then the consequences can really be life-threatening. Health authorities worldwide, from the FDA to the NHS, consider homeopathy unproven and advise against using it in place of proven medicine. I'm going to say that again. Consider homeopathy unproven and advise against using it in place of proven medicine. This brings me back to our episode on what's her face, the Aussie girl,
Belle Gibson.
Belle Gibson. Okay, that's what it brings me back to, and talk about a con artist. Okay, so to put it bluntly, homeopathy is pseudoscience and an ineffective one at that. Save your money.
Yeah.
Or at least understand that you're basically buying an expensive placebo. And that's kind of the approach that I take to my patients. Do I feel like it has a pretty good safety profile? Depending on what you're buying.
Right.
But don't expect anything crazy. I tell them just like that. Do not expect anything crazy.
Yeah.
A quick reality check. If dilution made remedies stronger, you'd get more caffeine from watered down espresso than a regular one. Which, of course, isn't true. That's the whole entire explanation, right? So if you water something down, you're going to get more of an effect. That's what those dilutions are doing. And it's not like that, right? If you're diluting and diluting and diluting and diluting, you are getting rid of the initial product that you said that you needed.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't understand how that train of thought.
Me neither.
All right, so the next one up. Detox cleanses, flushing out fiction. This one gets me every time. Like, I love this one. This one's really, really, really popular, and a lot of people truly believe in this, but all right, let's go ahead. Anyway, so the world of detoxes and cleanses. You've probably seen them all over social media and health stores. Yes. I mean, they're even in Whole Foods. Like, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Juice cleanses, tea toxes, fasting detox programs, foot detox pads, and on and on and on. They sell the idea that it is enticing and there's a lot of like backing to it, that pollution and air pollution and
plastics, blah, blah, blah.
a lot of things, right? Yes, that is true. Then they like latch onto that to like sell you, well, you got to detoxify from all of that, right? It's just a vague term of toxins, like what it really is. And they latch onto, again, all these vague terminology and all these terms. And that you need these special diets or these special products to purge these poisons and feel healthy again. Because you may be feeling tired, fatigued, sluggish, brain fog. They latch on to all of those things that a lot of regular, everyday people feel just because life. That you need to purge these poisons out. It sounds plausible. Who wouldn't want to eliminate that and feel better, right?
Yeah.
But here's the truth. For generally healthy people, your body already has a wonderful detox system. And it's called your liver and your kidneys. And they work 24/7 to neutralize and excrete waste. There's no good evidence that a random juice cleanse or an herbal supplement can somehow just supercharge this process or remove mysterious additional toxins that your body can't handle.
Did you see the famous person on TikTok? He literally wears scrubs and he's like, oh yes, you know.
He wears scrubs?
Yeah, he wears scrubs to like mimic that he's like in the healthcare system. And then he's literally on a dialysis machine. He has a dialysis. He's like, so this machine promoting people to come and do basically like a dialysis, okay, in his clinic.
Healthy people,
yeah, to remove toxins. Toxins. And he's like, you see, so this is why my blood is so, you see how that blood is so dark and the other one is so bright. It's removing toxins, plastics, all these things using medical jargon. Right? To promote people to come in and do that. And I'm like, my love, your kidneys do that. Your liver does that. Why does a healthy person need to come and do like a dialysis?
Somebody with kidney failure or, you know.
No, yes. If you don't have kidneys, you need to do dialysis, obviously.
But a healthy person, no.
Yeah. But yeah, these are people that are promoting these things. And they'll use the grab-on terms, plastics, toxins, all these things, like the blood.
Yeah.
This blood is darker, that one is redder, that means that it takes up more light. Light is better. It's just weird. So weird.
One is oxygenated. I'm not a doctor, but I mean.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what do we know from research? Okay, so actual scientific research. A 2015 review concluded that there's no compelling research to support the use of quote-unquote detox diets or products for weight loss or toxin elimination. In plain terms, these fancy juice fasts and cleansing regimens don't do anything that your own organs aren't already doing. Yes, if you cut out junk food and eat only veggies for a week, you might feel lighter or lose some water weight. But that's not because toxins left your body.
Yeah.
It's because you ate fewer calories or less salt.
Yeah.
And if you eat better, you're going to feel better.
Yeah, and I think that that's like a big thing because I know that a lot of people out there will say, well, this is made with purely natural ingredients of like honey and lemon and ginger and all these things. Listen, I am the first person that tells you you are what you eat. Okay, so if I go and eat McDonald's, I'm gonna feel like I ate McDonald's.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So there is no doubt about that ingredients matter. But just because, like what we were talking about in our previous episodes, like taking out like this dye number, whatever,
Yeah.
red number,
magically
whatever, that it's magically gonna make you feel better. But you're same people that are doing that are taking away funding from schools to actually grow whole foods and actually be able to sustain different whole, like a whole entire like nutrition. There's like a nutritional deficit. A lot of people will cling on to these like toxins,
Yeah.
but you're actually not focusing
On the real problem.
on the real problem.
Yeah.
Right? Like you shouldn't be eating fast food. So just
Exactly.
because you're cooking with beef tallow doesn't mean that it's better
We're
for
gonna
you.
be seeing a lot of cardiac problems in the next couple of years.
It's so sad because again, I'm not, and people will be like, well, so what? So you're for like you want to ingest dyes? No, that is not what I'm trying to say. Okay. However, don't add more.
So, in fact, a 2015 systematic review that found no compelling evidence plus NCCIH fact sheet, I'll put here what it is, which is the National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health. I would recommend a shorter name for sure. Anyway, so NCCI, this fact sheet, quotes, noted any rapid weight loss during a cleanse is usually just from severe calorie restriction. Okay, not because whatever you're taking is working. You might drop a few pounds of water or even muscle, and that weight returns once normal diet is resumed. There's no evidence these cleanses lead to lasting weight loss or any long-term health benefit. Meanwhile, real toxins like heavy metals, for example, won't be removed by sipping some lemon juice with cayenne pepper. Ugh, God, that sounds horrible. Anyway, some detox routines even carry risks. Certain extreme colon cleanses can cause dehydration, electrolyte imbalances, or even infections. There have been cases of liver injury from detox supplements, spiked with hidden ingredients. And beware, any product that tells you to drink so much water or tea that you flush out these quote-unquote toxins, people have landed even in the hospital with water intoxication or heart arrhythmias from overdoing these regimens, okay?
Yeah.
Perhaps the biggest red flag here, right, is that many detox products have been found to make false claims or contain contaminants. In fact, the U.S. regulatory agencies have taken action against several companies selling detox supplements or devices due to unsafe ingredients and fraudulent health claims. If a company promises their $50 tea will rid you of all these toxins and cure diseases, that's a huge warning sign of pseudoscience.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is your body detoxifies itself. If you have a liver and pair of kidneys that are normal functioning, okay, that are working, you're detoxing right now then. So of course, that doesn't mean that you can't benefit from a healthy eating or quitting alcohol or just eating whole foods and all that stuff, removing like over processed foods and all that. Obviously, you're going to be feeling better. Your organs are going to be feeling better. They're going to function better. But you don't need to buy that special kit or cleanse or quote unquote reset your body, which is what I keep hearing all the time from these people. Just drink plenty of water, eat a balanced diet with fiber, and that's your natural detox right there. And your systems will do better. You'll just feel better, right? You'll be just fine. The idea that you have years of sludge built up that only a charcoal lemonade cleanse can purge is a myth. Yeah. And it's often used to sell you something. As one medical expert put it, there is no known way, certainly not through detox treatments, to make something that works perfectly well in a healthy body work better.
Yeah.
Just, it doesn't.
Yep. So now let's talk a little bit about medical astrology. The only medical astrology I ever comment on is if Mercury's in retrograde, we're fucked. That is going to be a bad day or a full moon. If that's even astrology.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's a good one. I just say Mercury's in the microwave because it's just,
It's just everything's on the fritz. Yeah. So this is basically like health written in the stars. Okay.
Yeah.
So could the position of the planets and stars at your birth determine your health destiny? Apparently, medical astrology says yes, and that's a big red flag. This is the notion that your zodiac sign or birth chart influences your well-being and can guide medical decisions, right? Believe it or not, centuries ago, astrology was intertwined with medicine. Medieval doctors often consulted star charts before even doing any procedures.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, right. But in 2025, we know that there's zero scientific evidence that the alignment of the celestial bodies are going to affect your physiology or disease risk. Astrology is firmly considered a pseudoscience by the scientific community. Now, to give concrete examples, some astrologically minded folks might claim that a person born under Aries might have a predisposition to headaches because Aries rules the head, or that surgeries shouldn't be done when Mercury is in retrograde.
In the microwave.
Okay. So these kinds of claims fall apart under the investigation. And again, guys, it's not that I'm like, Mercury's in retrograde, it's going to be like an awful, it's kind of just things that we say. It's like bad juju.
Exactly, exactly.
These kinds of claims fall apart under the investigation. And in a 1985 Nature double-blind study, 28 respected astrologers could not match natal charts to personality profiles better than chance. Okay. In modern times, most medical professionals completely reject astrology in healthcare. An illustrative incident: a UK politician once suggested that astrology could help ease pressure on doctors and be useful in a diagnostic tool in the NHS.
Oh boy.
This was met with an outcry from scientists and physicians who labeled the idea as misguided and potentially dangerous. Well, why exactly dangerous? And I can see how people are like, how could that hurt someone, right?
Yeah.
It's dangerous because if people trust the stars over evidence-based advice, they might ignore real medical guidance. Imagine someone has an appendicitis and they're like, well, Mercury's in retrograde, so we can't do the surgery today. You're gonna die.
Yeah.
Imagine delaying cancer screening because your horoscope didn't favor it.
Oh boy.
That's the kind of risk that this thinking will bring on. So yes, I understand that it's supposed, again, like we said in the beginning of the episode, it comes from a good place.
Yeah.
But can actually have detrimental effects if it like gains track, right?
Yeah.
So astrology-based health tips like Libra should eat foods for their kidneys or avoid surgery on a full moon might seem harmless and fun, but taking them seriously can really mislead you. So there's no biological mechanism for Jupiter, and there's no constellation to influence human cells or microbes. Any accuracy people perceive is either a coincidence or the power of suggestion.
Again, the brain is a powerful thing.
You're manifesting it. Okay. So while reading your horoscope, okay, it might be entertaining, but it's not your health plan.
Please.
So when it comes to medical decisions, we recommend just sticking down to, Earth. Okay. Keep it here and not the zodiac signs. As one person may have said before, you can probably get as much medical insight from the Bristol stool chart as from an astrologer chart. Okay, so at least the stool chart is actually useful in medicine. At least it gives pictures and expectations. All right, so let's do a little bit about like energy healing, channeling mystic life forces. So the realm of energy healing includes practices like Reiki, therapeutic touch, Qigong?
Yeah, I would say Qigong.
Qigong healing, okay, crystal healing, and other methods that claim to manipulate invisible energies or life forces fields to improve health. Listen, I love the Reiki. I love me some rocks and some stones.
I have.
Yeah.
All over. I think they're beautiful alone.
I'm gonna add that. Okay, I'm not gonna depend on that.
Exactly. That's the thing. Like I am totally for entertaining like astrology and the rocks and and all those things. There might be things that we still don't know.
Yeah.
So I
like
get
when
that.
I give birth, yeah, I kind of want to be in a calm setting. So if you give me some Reiki, yeah, by all
Totally,
means.
by all
I'm
means.
I'm into
What I'm
it.
saying is like, science is only developing. There's things that today we don't understand, but maybe 10 years from now we'll understand, and we called it one of these things.
Yeah.
We don't know. So I'm open to,
Yeah.
I'm open here. That's fine. But I'm not going to replace it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to like not take my antibiotic because the moon is not full or something.
Yeah, or because someone gave you a rose quartz necklace.
Exactly. And that's
Or what is it, an amethyst?
whatever. I don't know. Pick it. I'm not gonna just hold on to that rock and be like, my flu is gone.
Yeah.
Or not wear sunscreen because I'm holding this rock.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that. So that's why like it's cool to like exactly how you said, add it on.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Add it on, go for it, yeah.
Have fun with it. I think that's what it's meant for, really, at its center, to just like add on to your life's journey. Please don't replace it. Don't replace it. Have the surgery. do the things. Take the antibiotics. Don't depend on the rock.
So the concept sounds really intriguing, but a lot of practitioners will say that, channeling or balance the patient's internal energy sometimes without even touching the body to promote healing, and that's not a thing, right? So this is the idea of bioenergy field, or a universal life force, often called the ki or prana, is common in various cultures and alternative medicine systems. But from a scientific standpoint, these therapies fall into pseudoscience unless proven otherwise, because they invoke forces that have never been detected or measured by any objective means. And again, a lot of these things we cannot test, and you have a lot of variability. What someone gets can be something completely different from what another person gets. But again, what we're trying to say is that we cannot give you definitive evidence to say this works.
Exactly.
Okay?
And that's what I'm saying. We don't know. Maybe
it does.
Maybe it does.
Maybe there's like a degree of it. I don't know.
years later down the line, we'll figure out how to measure these things, and they actually do work.
Yeah. Who knows?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
be open to it, but
Yeah.
please don't use it to replace what we know now.
Yeah.
Just
Exactly.
Stick with what we know right now, and
Yeah.
then maybe later down the line, then go for it.
So like an example, Reiki, okay? It
Yeah.
involves a practitioner lightly laying hands on the person to transmit healing and energy.
It's very pretty to see.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It's based in
I like looking at it. I'm like,
Yeah, and it's based on Eastern mystic beliefs, not Western anatomy or physiology. Does it work? According to the National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health, the NCCIH, a U.S. government research body, Reiki has not been clearly shown to be effective for any health condition in high-quality studies. Okay? So research trials on things like pain or anxiety have had inconsistent results. What I just said, what I got is completely different from what you got. And many studies are poorly designed. That's another thing. Your design on your study, like how you're actually testing your hypothesis,
Right.
can be flawed. Crucially, there's no scientific evidence that the energy field targeted by Reiki even exists. Same goes for healing crystals, therapeutic touch, and similar modalities. While people may report feeling relaxed or spiritually comforted, any specific claims of curing illness or unblocking energy pathways lacks credible evidence. So when proper trials are done, these treatments don't outperform the placebo. So reviews of the scientific literature on energy healing have consistently concluded that no reliable evidence supports its clinical use. Reported benefits can generally be attributed to psychological placebo effects, and then the calming ritual, the one-on-one attention, rather than any transfer of mystical energy. Okay.
hey, meditation works.
Yeah.
So why not use Reiki for calming and for all these things? Go for it.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing.
Yeah. So again, it's important to note that most forms of energy healing in themselves seem physically harmless. Okay, at the end of the day, like you're not ingesting something or whatever. But if getting Reiki session relaxes you, great. The harm comes if someone relies on just that instead of like a real scientific, backed up, evidence-based treatment.
Right.
Okay. So there are some tragic cases where patients with serious diseases like cancer forewent effective treatments in favor of spiritual healing,
So unfortunate.
only to have their conditions worsen dramatically and sometimes even end up in death. Health authorities warn that using these methods in place of proven therapies is really dangerous, and it's a dangerous gamble. In fact, Heavy reliance on such unproven methods has been associated with worse outcomes and even death. So simply because proper treatment was delayed or never even received. So imagine that you depended on something and you didn't even try any of that evidence-based medicine. Why? Because probably the other person that's talking to you about the other options, the pseudoscience, is telling you to be against modern day medicine, right? And even scaring you. It's unfortunate, but people scare other people to going to a doctor. Okay, so again, practitioners of therapeutic touch or, like hands-off energy therapy taught to some nurses claim that they could feel and smooth out a patient's energy field. And in a famous experiment, a 9-year-old girl tested these practitioners by having them guess if their hands was near theirs. They got it right only 50% of the time by pure chance. Yeah. They couldn't actually sense the human energy field they claimed was there. Now, that was published in a mainstream medical journal in the 1990s, yet the therapeutic touch still has people that believe in it. Okay. So that's pseudoscience in action and a refusal to let negative results kill the belief. So.
Yeah. A 9-year-old was able to
Yeah. So in summary, energy healing ideas are unproven. They're basically implausible. So no mystical vibrations or aura manipulations have been shown to really cure disease. Any positive feelings are likely placebo or a relaxation effect. Of course, stress relief, relaxation are all beneficial. We all feel that immediately, right? Yeah. But you can achieve those through safer evidence-based means as well as, like massage meditations, okay? If you enjoy energy healing as a complement, fine, but never let it replace anything else that's evidence-based. Also, just be wary of anyone selling expensive gadgets, okay? It is so sad to see people spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars selling their homes, taking out second mortgages, all these things to pay for a treatment. And most of the time, these people will just take their money
and give you water. It's horrible to see.
Give you water.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and talk about what's trending right now. These wellness fads and these social media myths that pseudoscience has exploded in today's internet age, right? So while the classic snake oil salesmen used to travel town to town, today their modern counterpart is that they can reach millions through social media, through influencers and online wellness gurus, right? Let's talk about some currently trending pseudoscientific health ideas that float around on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all the things, right? Viral health hacks on TikTok. And TikTok, in particular, has become infamous for bite-sized videos pushing dubious health tips. Some are harmless but useless, like eating pineapple to cure a cough. Not really true, but not dangerous, while others are downright risky. For example, there was a viral claim that you should drink potato juice to treat strep throat instead of taking antibiotics. And that is a very dangerous suggestion.
So gross.
It's disgusting.
I'm like, that's like dirt water.
And you're already sick with strep throat, which you feel like crap. And then you're drinking potato juice? Whew. A very dangerous suggestion, as untreated strep can lead to serious complications. Another TikTok tanning trend, check out our previous episode, encouraged people to douse themselves in beer to get a better tan.
Yeah, you feel all like same as the Coca-Cola.
Exactly. It's the same thing. Not only does that not protect you, it's a good way to get a nasty sunburn. So please wear your sunscreen. Please tune into our previous episode on melanoma and sunscreen. We've also seen the so-called dry scooping challenge, where gym goers swallow protein powder without water to boost workout performance. I don't know how they do this without coughing and choking.
When you were little, did you guys ever do the pixie dust?
Yes.
Okay, and yeah. I just remember clouds.
Exactly.
That's what it reminds me of.
And it's also, it reminds me of the cinnamon challenge.
That's what it's called, right? Pixie?
I think so. It's like the pixie sticks.
Okay, yeah.
It reminds me also of the cinnamon challenge, when people tried to swallow and then it was just a disaster every time.
Yeah.
Because whatever. Anyway, so doctors strongly advise against this. It can cause choking or even heart issues. These examples might sound a little silly and dumb or whatever, but they illustrate how fast and far health misinformation can spread in the social media firehouse. Yeah. A doctor's carefully researched article might reach a few thousand readers, while a catchy but wrong TikTok hack can hit millions overnight.
Yep.
And it's all because of how you sell it.
Yeah.
And then influencers selling miracle cures. Alongside DIY hacks, there's a booming industry for influencers and self-styled wellness experts selling products with grand health claims, from detox teas and weight loss lollipops to immune boosting supplements and anti-aging elixirs. Social media influencers often blur the line between anecdotal. That's another word that I cannot say. Advice and outright pseudoscience, especially when they profit from it. As she was, I think in this episode, you said it in the beginning, like you'll see the little earns commissions or ad or whatever. Yeah. Right there. Anyway, a lot of these products are simply modern snake oil. Okay. So for instance, several celebrities have promoted detox teas and skinny teas that basically act as laxatives or diuretics. Any weight loss is water weight and digestive distress as well. Not fat, and it comes right back.
Or my favorite, the parasitic one. The girl from Target.
If you guys haven't seen that episode, oh my God, what episode was that?
Oh, it was a very old episode.
It was a very old episode, but it was because
I went off on a tangent.
It was amazing. It was amazing. She really went off on that one because it was, I don't know, it was based off of one of these TikTok trends, and she was trying. It was some influencer.
She was an influencer, and she was basically saying how she had parasites that she never knew that she had, but she took one pill or something. And she went into a Target and unleashed a bomb in the toilet. And apparently she said that it was just all parasites. And I looked at that video a million times and I was like, do people believe this? And I was so angry. I was like, this is such BS.
Because I'm sure she was on her phone,
no, yeah.
Look at this.
Like that.
You won't believe it. And then, of course, people were like, okay, what am I looking at that I won't believe?
That's exactly how she was. That's how
they do it. That's how they do it. That's how they and then they're like, oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
She probably took some worms and then sprinkled it on.
Gross.
And
then be
like,
why are you? I'm like, what is going on here?
But you know what? That's the pimple popping thing. People are just, it's a train wreck. You can't stop looking. It's so bad. Anyway. Others push IV drips for energy or unproven neurotropic pills for brain health.
Neurotropic.
There. Without solid evidence. These sales are riding on placebo and hype. Yeah. All the way. That's what they're banking on, right? Mm-hmm. So influencer marketing can create an echo chamber of testimonials. Like she had said earlier, it worked for me, so it could work for you or whatever. Mm-hmm. That feeling is convincing, but remember, personal anecdotes, I said it.
Yeah, you did.
Are not proof, especially when money is involved. That's the big, big, big giveaway. Always ask, where is the independent research, right?
Yeah.
This next one is...
Yeah. So the supplement world, this world is just a business.
But there are ones that really do work. For instance, magnesium does help me sleep. Yes. There's ones that really do work, but there's so many that are...
Yeah. I understand that we do give supplements for certain diagnoses, right?
Yeah.
But the
vitamin
world,
D, like we said earlier.
Exactly. Yeah. Or just, valid ADEX ones. Vitamins for people that have pancreatitis or something like that. There's valid reasons why people do give supplements. Mm-hmm. However, the supplement world has just, it's like another big pharma for me. It's another scam. Okay.
Big time.
They're just out to get people's money. However, we're seeing a ton of consequences now because of it. Mm-hmm. So dietary supplements deserve a special mention. Not all supplements are pseudoscience. So certain vitamins or minerals are well supported by science for specific uses, like vitamin D for deficiency or B12. There's a lot. Okay. Yeah. Now, the supplement industry is a whole loosely regulated, and I think that's a huge problem.
At least here in the U.S.
Yeah, and it's like a rifle, right? Mm. And with exaggerated claims, the U.S., for example, supplements are regulated more like foods than drugs. This basically means that companies do not have to prove their pills as effective or even safe before selling them. Not only that, but I think it should be illegal. There are places, supplements, okay, that their website has the FDA approval sign. However, they just have the sign. They don't say the words FDA approved. They just have the logo.
Yeah, their
logo of the FDA approved. And when you look into it, because I've had friends of mine say, no, but I saw on the website it has the FDA logo on it. And it just sparked my interest. I'm like, it's a supplement. Like, what?
Right.
It's like usually not regulated. So when it goes in, the reason why they're allowed to put that logo is because they are making those supplements in an FDA approved building, but it's actually not, the product itself is not FDA approved. It's only in a building that was approved. Like, okay, you can make your food here. Exactly. But that doesn't mean that your actual product is FDA approved. That is how bad it is for when people are trying to sell something.
Yeah.
Okay. So they can market products with vague claims like supports immune health without any evidence, as long as they include little tiny disclaimer that claims aren't FDA approved. Okay. So the result, a 30+ billion industry of powders and pills, which many have no proven benefits. So studies have actually found that some supplements contain none of the ingredient that you think that you're buying. Okay?
Or that they label that they supposedly contain.
Yeah, exactly. Conversely, are spiked with hidden pharmaceutical drugs to make them quote unquote work. One New England Journal of Medicine study estimates that 23,000 ER visits and 2,154 hospitalizations each year are from supplements harm. FDA Adverse Events filed a list of 339 deaths between 2004 and 2013 linked to supplements. And a consumer analysis found that only about 1/3 of supplements in a large database had even some scientific evidence. Okay, 1/3.
Yep.
Or like any
and if you want the sources for all these numbers that we just spewed to you, just go to our show notes. It's going to be listed under sources in our YouTube video link of this episode. Yeah. It's there. So go ham.
Yeah, go ham. I love that. Go crazy.
Go ahead.
So, and this is just like any kind of scientific evidence. And we're talking about safety, efficacy, and not only that, but only 12% of those, supplements, okay, were associated with safety or quality concerns. That's nothing.
Oh boy.
So again, buyer beware. Okay. Natural does not automatically mean safe or effective, or organic doesn't mean that it's better. Okay.
And they love using those terms.
Or vegan, right?
That's the latest one.
That's another one. So for instance, arsenic and poisonous mushrooms are also natural too. Okay. Obviously, natural can still harm or kill, okay, but always scrutinize supplement claims and consult a medical professional, especially if a product promises miraculous cures or substitutes for prescription medicines, okay?
Please don't substitute your prescription meds.
Yeah.
Please don't.
If there truly were a pill that melts fat while you sleep or reverses aging in 10 days, it would be front page news, okay, and prescribed. Okay, it would be prescribed.
Yeah. Just like all these GLP-1 drugs have been now. Trust me, they've made the news really big because they've worked for weight loss. So don't you think that pill, that's just a pill, okay, wouldn't
be the same.
Think about it, guys. Come on. Anyway.
So it's not a secret sold on late night infomercials or by an Instagram model with a discount code. Like, these are the type of things that you should just be careful with, right? Things that work are you're gonna have access to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's, guys, listen, like, we get a lot of emails for sponsorship for supplements.
Yeah.
I get them like almost every other day. We would be making a lot of money if we allowed to take those. And we haven't taken a single one because we just won't. Nothing. Like nothing that is ingestible will we take sponsorship from.
Yeah.
And we could have been making a lot of money for all of this equipment, but we don't because of it. Because unfortunately, this world is riddled with misinformation and just no science.
Yeah.
And harm. We're seeing harm.
Yeah. And again, when we get these emails, like, mushrooms, right? The mushroom ones. Well, we got emails for a thousand things, but that's like the first one that I can
I
come
just
up
got
with.
one the other day.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I feel like pseudoscience and conspiracies are like they're right there with each other, right? So anyway, so let's talk about just a few of them. These are some conspiracy fueled cures. For some reason, that was like hard for me to say all at once, guys. So anyway, here we are. This is me. A troubling trend online is the promotion of outright dangerous substances as cures, often tied to conspiracy theories. For example, some groups tout something called miracle mineral solution, or MMS, as a cure for autism, cancer, and just you name it, anything, throw it in there. But MMS is essentially industrial bleach.
Can you imagine the poison control people nowadays?
God bless them.
No, God bless them.
Because my lord,
I've had my fair share of times that I've had to call them because of
this is like
pseudoscience.
This reminds me of the ivermectin
Yeah.
situation. This falls under this for me. Anyway, ingesting it is extremely dangerous, guys. This is bleach.
Yeah.
And obviously will lead to poisonings. Yet some influencers push it, claiming government and pharma companies don't want you to know about it. Similarly, during the COVID-19 pandemic, various unproven and risky remedies were widely shared, from drinking disinfectants to taking livestock drugs like ivermectin in inappropriate doses. There were people passing and having severe injuries from like the dosages that they were taking of ivermectin.
Yeah.
It was crazy times. Under that idea that these very mysterious they people are hiding the real cures. This is a potent mix of pseudoscience and conspiracy thinking. It preys on people's distrust and fear. And unfortunately, in today's world, there's a lot of mistrust in government and higher up officials and all that. And I get it. I understand. But just because you have trust issues with like ruling governments and whatnot doesn't mean that you have to go ahead and completely discredit actual evidence and medicine and people in medicine, right? Anyway, not everybody is bad is what I'm trying to say. And if you have a doctor that you trust, just trust medical evidence-based science is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so as a rule, be extremely cautious of any health advice couched in "they don't want you to know" rhetoric. That's red flag right there. That just means conspiracy right there. It's a classic sign of scam or fringe theory. Real medical knowledge is published openly in journals and discussed at conferences, not suppressed in favor or secret cures. If someone on YouTube claims to have a miracle cancer cure made from like apricot pits or turpentine that doctors are covering up, do a hard fact checkup. Just check on it. I'm sure you'll find all the red flags on it. In fact, apricot kernels, scientific name that I'm not going to try to say, were touted as a natural cancer cure decades ago, but studies found that they're ineffective and can release cyanide.
Yeah. It's actually a true story.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Well, I would hope it's a true story.
Yeah.
Sure.
True story.
So sure enough, apricot kernel supplements are now reappearing via TikTok.
Awesome.
Wellness influencers. Isn't that freaking phenomenal?
Beautiful.
Anyway, so a 2024 study from City University of London and St. George's Hospital found that 81% of TikTok cancer cure videos contained false or misleading claims. Only 19% of those videos had any legitimate medical information. Even worse, many of those TikTok creators were linking to online stores selling dubious and hazardous treatments like oregano oil, like you had mentioned.
Oh.
Go figure that.
Exactly.
That one's just popular.
Yeah.
And then these apricot kernel extracts. Please don't. Cyanide's deadly. Or even dog dewormer pills as cancer cures. What does a dewormer have to do with cancer? Anyways, for the record, none of those are proven cancer cures. Okay, if you need for the record, if you needed extra for me to tell you again, some just can be harmful, all right? Taking animal dewormer intended for livestock, like cows, for example, can lead to overdose or organ damage in humans. They're not meant for humans. The TikTok algorithm tends to reward sensational claims, so a dramatic, they cured stage 4 cancer with this herb, posts can easily outrank a sober explainer from an oncologist. It's scary, the landscape for misinformation, unfortunately. Always cross-check viral health claims with credible sources like, the CDC, cancer research organizations. There's many of them. Social media is great for dancing, cats, dogs, anything, just entertainment. It's great for that, but it's not great for medical advice. Fad diets and other perpetual trends. We should also mention the endless cycle of fad diets and wellness trends that often have pseudoscientific roots.
Yeah.
Remember the alkaline diet craze?
Yeah.
Claiming you must eat alkaline foods to balance your body's pH is not biochemically sound. Your blood pH is tightly regulated by your body, and you can't significantly change it via diet. Or the raw water trend, where people paid exorbitant amounts, like insane amount. I remember this one, for unfiltered natural water.
It's disgusting to me.
What the hell?
Honestly, straight up. I'm just thinking about everything that water picks up. Just everything that it'll pick up.
So sewer.
As it's collected. Yeah. What?
I don't understand. I really don't. Whatever. Which risked bacterial contamination, obviously, under the belief that treated water was missing mystical benefits.
Sure.
We see waves of interest in ancient or exotic sounding remedies without evidence, from drinking clay to coffee enemas to celery juice cleanses. Some might do nothing, some might do a bit of good or bad, but the grand health claims rarely hold up under proper study. So always ask, what does peer review research say about this, right? Not just one study or one doctor on YouTube, but the consensus of multiple studies. If the answer is there's no solid evidence, just testimonials, be skeptical about it, right?
So the common thread in these modern trends, pseudoscience adapts to the
zeitgeist.
Is it what?
Zeitgeist.
What's
See,
that
I could say that word. We'll figure that. Zeitgeist is the trending atmosphere, the trends out there.
Okay, so
the
pseudoscience is going to
culture.
adapt to the trends.
Yeah, it is.
So it uses today's platforms and viral challenges and wellness and holistic vibes to kind of attract an audience, but the lack of scientific grounding is the same old story.
Yep.
Okay. So whether it's a Victorian snake oil in a bottle or a 2025 detox on Instagram, the major claims of benefits without good evidence, you should just think twice about it. So in the next section, we'll drive home why this all matters, the real harms of pseudoscience. Some of these things are really silly, but what harm does it do? And we've kind of already discussed this a little bit in the episode on it's all natural, right? It's not gonna really hurt, but what's the real harm to it? So the worst that could happen if someone tries an unproven remedy, the answer is that pseudoscience in health can indeed be dangerous in multiple ways. Delaying or avoiding effective treatment. This is the single biggest risk. If a person with a serious condition is swayed into using a fake cure instead of a proven medical treatment, then the consequences can be really dire. Cancers can progress, infections can spread, the treatable diseases can become incurable. For example, choosing a homeopathic drop or vitamin megadoses instead of chemotherapy for cancer is vastly going to lower one's chances of survival, right?
I think that's what happened with Steve Jobs.
I'm not sure. I didn't read anything on that.
I'm pretty sure it's really unfortunate.
There was a recent news article about a young girl dying from, I think it was brain cancer, from delaying treatment because parents were trying to go the medical route.
So freaking sad.
Yeah. But anyways, we're not here to shame anything, but this is the unfortunate cases of what we're talking about. So there are heartbreaking cases of patients, including children who died from illnesses, the diabetes, cancer, epilepsy, just for well-meaning parents, right? But they followed pseudoscientific advice to shun standard treatment. Even less extreme, consider someone with chronic pain, spending years using energy healing or herbal rubs that could benefit, okay? However, you can also benefit from proper medical or surgical interventions, and their suffering would just end,
for no need,
right? But if you're not doing that, if you're not doing modern medicine, then you're just suffering endlessly and needlessly. Foregoing real treatment for fake ones is a high price to pay, and the tragedy is that sometimes the window for effective treatment will close. A tumor that might have been removed easily at stage 1 can become metastatic and lethal by stage 4 after months of wasted pseudoscience remedies. In stark historical example, during the early 2000s, the government of South Africa embraced AIDS denialism, claiming that HIV did not cause AIDS, and pushing garlic and herbs instead of antiretroviral drugs. Researchers later estimated that about 330 to 343,000 South Africans died unnecessarily to that pseudoscientific policy. And it's a dramatic case, but it shows that bad medicine can kill on a large scale. Okay.
Horrible.
Direct physical harm. Some pseudoscientific practices are not benign at all. They can directly hurt you. We mentioned MMS, that industrial bleach marketed as a cure. So ingesting that can actually cause detrimental poisonings, actual like damage to the lining of your GI system, vomiting, kidney failure, and even death from poisoning. Another example is black salve, an ointment sold as a natural cancer cure that literally burns the skin tissue. People have applied black salve to skin cancers, or what they thought was that, and then ended up with a horrible open wound that got infected and then sometimes needed reconstructive surgery. So it's
making it worse.
Unregulated supplements can also have a dangerous contaminants. Weight loss pills spiked with amphetamines.
That was very popular.
A heart stimulant that has led to strokes and heart attacks in users. So even something as seemingly mild as an herbal supplement can cause liver damage, and certain cases like green tea extract in excess, for instance, can cause liver failure in a few people. So yeah, probably people don't know that, right? So when products aren't properly tested, you're kind of like rolling the dice, right? And if you want to roll a dice, that's fine, but don't promote it. Exactly. Just because nothing happened to you doesn't mean that something bad is not going to happen to another person. So it's like device.
Try to convince people of it too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
and that's the problem that I have by people that open up their TikTok videos or Instagram reels and they're like, I'm not a doctor or anything. I'm just saying what worked for me. Yeah. You're wrong. Shut up.
And they say it like that.
They do.
They say it like with that authority. Like,
no, and not only that, but it's just like that. It's just a slap in the face, right? Yeah. Because you just said it. You just said it. You're not a doctor. Shut the fuck up. You just said it. So stop talking. Right? It's like all of a sudden, so if something bad, you're basically prefacing it with like, if something bad happens to you, I said that I wasn't a doctor. Right. So what you're trying to say is go to a doctor, right? Listen to a doctor. Yeah. If you're telling me you're not a doctor, but you're saying something, but you're not a doctor, right? Yeah. So it's so like contradictory, right?
It makes no sense.
It's kind of like, if shit hits the fan, I told you that I wasn't a doctor. Why did you listen to me?
No, that's
right?
completely to cover their own asses.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
So public health risks, pseudoscience doesn't just harm individuals, it can endanger others. A prime example is the anti-vaccine movement.
Check out Autism 1 and 2 and Measles 1 and 2.
Yeah. I forgot that measles was 2 episodes. But yeah, so false claim that vaccines, especially MMR vaccine, can cause autism, were a piece of pseudoscience that has been thoroughly debunked. The original 1998 study was found fraudulent, retracted, yet the idea continues. This is the pseudoscience trend, right? It continues on, right? Yeah. And now there's more papers studying about the aluminum. How aluminum is not linked again to any autism.
It just doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop, right? So people prefer to just like, it's the same twirling shit in the toilet, right? Just flush it. People just stir the pot.
It's like true.
The same thing over and over again.
They can't.
It's like, how many times do we need to talk about that?
Like, why is it so hard to accept?
Because they don't want to. They don't want to. It has nothing to do with acceptance. It's that you don't want to.
Why?
A lot of these people have a hard time saying that they were wrong. Right?
I guess, yeah.
So the results is that we've seen resurgence of disease like measles and whooping cough. And once that were really well controlled, now measles can lead to death, especially to infants or immunocompromised people who can't vaccinate. Before, we spent 10 years where we didn't have a death from measles. Now, welcome to the new year where we've already had two deaths, which is crazy. Something completely preventable, right? So someone's choice to believe anti-vax pseudoscience doesn't only put their own child at risk, but you're also weakening the community immunity and you're bringing back preventable outbreaks. So
go you.
yeah, and
Great
and
job.
to be honest, you're kind of endangering other kids. Of
course.
Because if you're not vaccinated, then that means that you're probably more predisposed to getting ill from whatever we could have prevented with vaccines, which means if you're playing around in a room full of kids, you're putting those other kids in danger as well. But they don't see it that way.
No.
But you know what's crazy? The other day, I didn't say anything because, I'm trying to be professional. But the other day, I had a lady with a child that was like 6 months old, right? We have a newborn room because we try to separate the babies from the
Older
other
kids.
kids and stuff. So this mom came up to me and she was like, hey, do you mind if my 6-month-old waits in the newborn room? And I was like, oh, usually we reserve, it's a small room.
Yeah.
It's like 5 seats,
Yeah.
right? And we usually reserve it for babies. So I'm like, oh, we usually reserve it for babies under 1 month old. And she's like, oh, but the thing is that my baby isn't vaccinated. So I just don't want her to be like out in the open.
So
And then I'm like, so you want to expose the newborns in the room to kids? So I told her, I told her in a nice way. I was like, I'm really sorry. First of all, your baby's 6 months old. So it's really not meant for your child. And also, if your baby is not vaccinated, you're actually putting those other babies at risk. And she looked at me if I had 3 heads.
But I'm like, then if you're worried about it, then why aren't you vaccinating your kid?
But that's the selfishness about it, right? It's like, so you're not vaccinating, you're making a choice to not protect your child, but because
then you're
of
trying
that,
to protect your
you're
child.
trying to protect your child by putting them in a room separated by people, but putting those kids at risk. But they don't understand that part.
That logic makes absolutely no sense.
They don't finish that. They don't finish that thought process.
Yeah, no, they don't.
Right.
Because it's just,
They're just thinking about their kid.
but you're not, because then you're not vaccinating
Yeah.
them. So it's like
It's what they think is right?
weird.
Yeah.
I can't.
And that's a true story. We're not here to make like views off of.
No, we don't.
What is that called? Like rage bait. You know what I mean? These are experiences that you wouldn't believe. But yeah.
That's
People
weird.
do exist. There's people that out there that exist that they don't vaccinate their kids, but they want to put them next to your newborn. Again, in 2019, the U.S. saw the highest number of measles cases in 25 years, largely in communities with low vaccination rates. So this demonstrates how pseudoscientific beliefs can undermine the public health efforts built on solid science. So thanks, RFK. Similarly, during the COVID-19 pandemic, misinformation about vaccines and bogus cures likely cost a lot of lives by dissuading people from proven interventions. There's also a financial exploitation and emotional toll. Pseudoscience can also drain people's finances, which is what we were talking about, how people will sell their homes, sell everything to afford these things because they are convinced that that's what's going to work.
And they're all expensive.
Yep. And then many alternative treatments are not covered by insurance.
Of course
Why? Because research does not support that it works. And then meaning families pay out of pocket. So sometimes tens of thousands of dollars for unproven therapies. That's that problem, like that post that I put the other day. It's just people selling things, and it pisses me off because it's not about anyone's health. It's just about you making an extra buck.
Right.
So we see cancer patients crowdfunding like $50,000 to go to overseas alternative clinics offering things like ozone therapy and high dose vitamin C infusions with no proven benefit. Scam artists might be charging desperate patients for stem cell treatments that are unproven and ineffective. At least if you told me that you had some evidence, but there's none of that. Beyond the money, there's an emotional cost. People invest their hope and trust in these methods. When they inevitably fail, the patients or family is going to be left just still facing the same illness, feeling betrayed, ashamed, guilty, financially in debt, and it's not anyone's fault. Because the same person that sold you is going to be like, I'm sorry, you're that case that it just didn't work.
Of course.
Or you need more. I need more. You need to buy more.
There's always going to be an answer from them, though.
Yeah. Because of all of this, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but unfortunately, a lot of pseudoscience has caused the mistrust. They just bomb the trust in science and medicine.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's going to be like on a broader level. So widespread pseudoscience undermines trust on legitimate medical institutions, right? So when people repeatedly hear messages, doctors don't want you to know the truth, or RFK loves saying that doctors make money by doing this and telling you this. My guy, you are a lawyer. You do not know medicine. You're not a doctor. You're not a nurse. You're literally nowhere in the realm of the medical world. So please, shut up. Shut up and stop talking all of this.
I don't understand, like, where that you guys get money out of vaccines.
Please let me know. Please let me know. Because that's news to me. But again, people love listening to him, and they're going to promote, and it's a lot of, like, you know, more money for them to listen to their podcast and all these things, right?
Yeah.
Go for it. Take away vaccines, but promote beef tallow. Like, but anyways, there's a lot of people that are going to talk like that. They're going to say pharma's hiding the cure and all these things. So certainly medicine and science are not perfect.
No.
Doctors are the first person to tell you that.
Yeah.
Okay. Errors happen. A healthy skepticism is okay. Questions, ask questions, do your own research, do good research. Right. In things from evidence-based studies, do your research.
Exactly.
Okay. Take a class, take a biology class, take something so that you understand.
Exactly.
Right. But just believing people, just saying things, that's really dangerous.
Yeah.
And it can make health decisions into an ideology and like identity, right?
Yeah.
So rebuilding trust is hard. It's much easier to lose it in a storm of disinformation, and that won't help if people refuse them. Pseudoscience health is not just an eccentric sideshow. It has real world consequences. People can get hurt directly or indirectly, and we have to know that knowledge and the tools that to treat many illnesses, or at least manage them for better than in the past. Those tools only help if they're used. Okay, so when pseudoscience leads someone away from those tools, it can literally be a matter of life and death.
Yeah. I mean, today's climate is full of pseudoscience, so that's why we figured it was in our list. We have a list, a growing list, an ever-growing list of topics for us to talk about.
Yeah.
But pseudoscience was there, and I feel like every freaking day, there's something new.
Yeah.
And that's based off of pseudoscience, and it makes the news. It makes the news out of this thing that we're not paying attention to, that we're not listening to, that, oh my God, like all these claims. I figured that we would touch upon it. We mentioned several fun ones, like the astrology one and all that stuff, but then other ones like ivermectin and the frickin' apricot seeds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Please don't follow these TikTok fads without doing proper research, without consulting an actual doctor that went to actual schooling for it. And that's somebody that's just
and it doesn't even have to be a physician, right?
Yeah, it could
like
be an MD,
research scientists, doctorates, like all these. But at the end of the day, what do they all have in common? They all go to the source, which is evidence-based research.
Exactly. And that's not easy. It's not easy to be reading and dissecting actual evidence-based articles and all that stuff. It's not easy. That's why I try to find somebody that does that for a living, that has gone to school for that or whatever, or take your time and see how you can learn how to read those articles as well and look through peer-reviewed research. Don't just go through TikTok or Instagram Reels or whatever and be like, well, yeah, I'm going to give that a shot.
Yeah.
Instead of taking my antibiotic or whatever. But anyway, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
Let us know what you guys think, if you guys have unfortunately gone down some rabbit holes of pseudoscience, fads and trends and whatever. I'm really, really interested in knowing, because that is a deep rabbit hole that I had to like pull myself out of. Because if not, my TikTok algorithm was going to be something very questionable in my future. But yeah, let us know if you've unfortunately, or whatever your story was on anything pseudoscience. I actually do look at the comments. Okay, guys, like we actually do. read what you guys send us.
Yeah.
If you're not into social media or anything like that, then we do have an email, funnymedicine305@gmail.com. Subscribe here. Thank you guys. Like I said, comment, support. We're available on all forms of social media as Funny Medicine Podcast, except on X, because X, of course, Funny Med Podcast, we're there as well. And anyways, we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.